Enchanted Towers is up next. Unfortunately, it is a little bit before Sparks Finder, so it'd benefit greatly from having Sparks Finder. It's a tricky level because of the boogers. Tricky little section to get in there. I'll slow it down and talk about it really briefly. So I jump early to make sure I go down earlier. I veer in slightly to the left. I don't take directly, to the right of that. Jump. I'm going to do a quick glide into a charge jump. Quick glide into a charge jump. After I've crushed through that, I glide, and then I charge. Otherwise, handle it the best way you can. Two routes here. They both start the exact same. I'm going to show the more standard route. Maybe about 8.5 seconds roughly slower than the other route. This one, 2 gem, will home in automatically. Be careful if you're not. What's that sheep? What happened to that sheep? Anyway, load in and hold upright. As soon as you pivot, press square. And then as soon as you've charged, you're going to go back to left. You can see pivot, square. Or just snap back on over. Taking this direct line like that, if you go a little bit too wide, this guy can sometimes charge down early, and you're going to want to probably get him now. But taking a quick little snap back here and going kind of directly at this line prevents this guy from moving anywhere. Just like so. So let's start this off like normal. You can get a flame charge on both of those at the same time, or you can just get one. Ideally, you'd get a flame charge on that hammer guy. For that, if you kind of take a wider line left, you prevent him from smacking his hammer. If you have him, if I went directly to him instead of this wide line, he smacks his hammer from the direct line. So keeping him off screen like this allows that to happen. Flame charge, we jump, flop at the top, very quick. Here you have 2 options. You can either hug very left, get a flame charge on this guy, or at least flame him, and then you'll double back through here after getting lattice. Alternatively, you can go in more left, get a flame charge, and pick up that green gem, and then you'll glide over to this little platform and do a jump off. Just don't jump right off of the edge. They're very close. The best way to handle this room is like this. This is a very tricky room. I like going back through, I like going this way because this better lines me up to get that guy. You alternatively, you can do something like this. I'll just show it. You would want to glide off of that little rail and flame charge him. Like this, which is a little bit trickier, and then go around. And doing this motion prevents him from smacking, and it collects things very efficiently. So you flame charge him, and I'm going to the left of this. I'm going to dip in, there's a 1 gem right here, and I'm just going to do this arc that doubles back. You want to go just a little bit left to get that green gem. You may bonk into him, it's not the end of the world. This guy, if you're fast, he'll be a little bit more left. Don't worry about his gem, it will always home in. We'll talk about boogers with Byrd. And here is where the routes deviate. So, I do the cursed route. I'm going to teach the standard route first. We're going to land as soon as possible. Flame these. You can flame charge jump both of these guys. Try to send them more to the left. If you send them to the right, you might not get them. You'd have to go out of your way to get them. Sorry about the audio balancing. It's not my fault. Yeah, if you send them to the right, their gem will be on the right side. You would probably want to go get them since you took the time to kill them. Otherwise, you'd have to get them after skateboarding. If you can't do a flame charge jump, you can quickly chuck these at him. At them, not him. Ideally hit that guy. Get this. Come up here. You can charge glide like so. Or you can do something like that. Not the bonk. Getting that rocket sometimes is a little bit easier on the down from your jump. Come over here, let him smack, and then charge, flame charge both of them. Ideally, you get this. Notice I haven't teleported yet. You need all 3 rockets to have broken to teleport. But you also need to be facing the sorceress statue. So the rest of this looks like this. We're going to I press a little bit of R2 so we don't face too early. So we want to make sure we get all these gems before we teleport. And then you can walk forward. It's also a little bit proximity based. Mash through this. Hold up, left, charge, jump, flop, land up here. You can do that better. Flop, jump, charge, glide on down, flop, yada yada yada. Alright, here we've got skateboarding. Do not get that sheep. You are not allowed to get that sheep.
Isn't this the...
You can do everything normal
Jump off the end of ramps by pressing the X button. I'll show
with
you how to
Hunter,
do it once.
or you could cheese these slightly and save a little bit of time.
Okay.
So if you jump about halfway through the platform for his first instruction, which is just going off the ramp, you can save a little bit of time. I'm not going to show the normal methods. Now, for these other cheese methods, this one's pretty easy to do. You want to aim for no lower than this line right here, and you want to just veer off to the left. These save just a smidgen of time, but we just need to do a roll. Typically we do it to the right. Hold triangle, just like so. Make sure you aim right of this skateboarding platform. For some reason, if you're too far left, this won't count. So, in that case, it actually still didn't count. So,
Hey.
sometimes when you screw up, you won't actually get teleported back. Let's see if I can show that. So same sort of deal. We want to aim to the left here. This one's tricky. I don't necessarily recommend it for everybody. We need to essentially end somewhere along the same track that they're expecting us to end to without bonking. And so it's a little bit tricky. So let me start over. Again, aim no lower than this. We're going to do a front flip or a back flip. Go like this. And you want to turn back into this. And ideally we're looking to veer off here. So there's that corner here. Because if you mess it up, you won't get it. I blame the pause. So you can see, you kind of want to just keep going along where you're expected to land anyways. This one's very easy. You're just going to hold upright, excuse me, and then charge. And you're going to want to take a line that's just right of this plus. Like so. And as soon as you've kind of crossed that line, you're going to start holding down left. I'm going to mess up here. Just to re-show. So now once I've gotten my angle out enough, then I hit up left. Hold up left, or down left, excuse me, the entire time. You're good to go. No cheesing this one. Hold X at some point. Make sure you're counting. It's very easy to screw that one up by not paying attention. This one is also tricky, and I don't know if I necessarily recommend it. You're also going to want to aim for, just above this half. Just above this line. Don't get this gem. We're going to get that during the actual auto-scroller. So even if you do this normally, you're just going to jump off and do a big trick. Nasty Nork is usually what we do. Quick note on how to do a Nasty Nork. Go off a ramp, hold triangle, go back roll, and then turn into a diagonal roll. So a twist. Keep this all kind of as one fluid motion. Like so. Not a back roll and then a twist for best results. You can still kind of make it work. This is our main go-to trick for anything with skateboarding from here on out. You can do it either direction and forward as well. So it's gonna look something like this. This one is risky. Sometimes I'll just land on the side here, sometimes I'll just land here. Ideally we land here because that's this shortest path to getting correct teleport. It's sometimes you'll have your trick not register, so you'll lose time from this. and then if you go too low off of that ramp, you just won't be able to trick at all. So this one's risky, as well as like the front flip, back flip one. Everything else I think I recommend.
Wow.
And again, we'll get this balloon during the auto scroller here.
I'm thinking you're...
Mash through this. This is an auto scroller. We have 2 minutes to collect all the gems here. There are 90 total gems. We've already kind of collected at least one, I think. Have a path. You don't have to necessarily copy mine. Have a path and do it the same way every single time. That's all that I recommend. And if you need that sheep, I'll show you where to get the sheep. After getting this, I like to hold and buffer my X input. This balloon is a little bit tricky. Aim kind of between, just right of that skateboard you saw before, kind of in the center. But I'm holding X, so I don't have to jump into it, and I keep my speed pretty consistent. When I'm right at the top, if I hit flame, I can usually get that to kind of flame charge in or charge in. Nasty Nork, you're seeing me do a lot. It's simply just a triangle. You do a front flip or a back flip, and then a diagonal right after. This one, this is the time to get this. I am team Big Gulp A. I'll see you later. I like to run over these gems. If you're ever unsure if you got those gems or not, you can go and check it right after you're done. I usually break off my skateboard right here. Grab the sheep now. You can't make that sheep respawn, unfortunately, so I'm just down. But yeah, jumping off of that ramp and gliding over there makes collecting those gems just so much easier. Get the triplet towers. 20 is what you want. And now end someplace safe. Go stretch for a little bit. That's maybe the best thing that I could offer you. We're going to skip through all this. And please, please make sure you stay somewhere safe when you're finished with this challenge.
Wait, no. What's this? What's this? What did I just do? Someone clip that. No. No.
Get over 4,500. Get at least 5,000. It's my recommendation, and Hunter will not beat you. Coming out, we're going to hold square, and we're going to jump in, and we're going to hold forward. This is a tricky whirlwind for whatever reason. I don't know why it's dumb. But if you kind of try to turn right too early, you will actually just you'll fall. So hold forward, and you'll be good. We're going to come on over here. We're going to pick this up. Jump over the sheep. You know, obviously we could use it here, very potentially. This is a little bit of a tricky part. I like to hold down left, and I like to kind of do a little bit of L2. Pivot. Now for this, best thing I recommend here is to aim for kind of the front of the bone dog's crotch, kind of like right here. It's where the hitbox for the bone is going to start. So if you hit him too far right, you miss. If you hit him more left of center, then you're good to go. Now, doing this in one fell swoop is a little bit tricky. So you want to kind of jump out like that. And you do this one fell swoop. My biggest recommendation is to only shoot at the top of your jump, because otherwise you will shoot this at the balloon and it'll go too low and just won't break it for some reason. So make sure you're kind of aimed at the balloon. If you miss that balloon for whatever reason, you can actually back it up. And if you miss this bone, before I even get into that, if you miss this bone, we'll traipse back over this a second time. So you just leave it, and we'll come and get it later. You can go over here and you can just do the old thing where we just head bash this and then jump on in. So let's leave the bone. Hover if you need to, but as long as you do shoot at the top and then start turning at the top of your jump, you should just be able to glide on over with a down left. Just like so. I didn't do that, but that's okay. Pick these up. We're going to break this, charge, and do a little bit of a glide. You can alternatively you could just come up here if you're screwing that up. Sometimes this guy will be in your way. You can just get him. It's not too big of a deal if you do or don't. The way I'm going to teach it is that you don't, because the cycles usually don't line up. I accidentally just got that, so let's see everything in one fell swoop. I'm going to leave this bone here intentionally. There you go, no hover. You can also jump out, like so. You could jump a little bit earlier, like as soon as you head bash. We're going to come over here. Clean this up now. That's fine, I got everything. Come down here. I'm gonna glide and get this guy. Now, for this guy, you can knock him into the wall, just like I did. And what will actually happen is he'll go out far enough to the right, his gem will come in and it'll hit this, and it'll fall. If you do it this way, you're gonna have to turn to make sure it does fall. One, because you know, if it goes here, it's not going to auto-collect, like when it hits the void. Two, it still does need to be looked at for you to in order for you to collect it. Otherwise, if you hit them out too far left, it's just going to collect here, and you'll get it right now. See, it landed right there. But you're going to see my gem count goes up now. So there it is. Come over here, jump into this. Now, here's a cool little thing for this whirlwind. As you're going up, tap R2 till you line up with this donut. You know, where we went in for skateboarding. You kind of want to center Spyro in the skateboard donut. And then hold down right, and you'll always be able to land without a hover. Just like so. Now you would go over here and pick this on up. Because if you don't do that, you can't hold down right. With it flopped. Then you'll just go up here. Assuming you don't need the bone, you would glide across immediately. Otherwise, you'd come and collect the bone. Now, here. Let's talk about here. Plenty of different ways to collect these boogers. I'm going to show you Nitrop's way. We're going to flame charge, jump, come over here, flame charge, jump, and flame charge, jump. So we're getting 4, and we're leaving 2. Sometimes you knock them into here. Make sure you collect the gem before you go through the portal. Sometimes you knock them, and they'll knock, one of the gems will fall over here. Make sure it does fall over there. We're going to leave those 2 for later. Alternatively, you could come over here and kill everything with one of these. The way I'm going to teach it is we're going to leave those 2. Come in, hold square, and go just a little bit to the right here. And we're going to fall down. We're going to clear the left side. Now, we've got a couple different ways on how to handle this challenge. You can do it in the intended way, which is slow, or you can do some flame charge jumps, which are tricky. Once you get them down, you know, they're not too bad. I'll pick up some stray gems along the way, and I'm gonna hug left just like so. So I'm not gonna teach the intended way, but for flame charge jumping that button, taking this line, there is kind of this Sparks needs to move. See this little point where all these lines connect? This is my visual cue for a good flame charge jump spot. Hit it, do a flame charge jump. You can do it directly at it. I kind of like hitting the left side of my flame onto it. These are still tricky, still very easy to mess up. Get a flop in, skip that cutscene. If you mess that up, or if you just want to take it slow, you can come in to about halfway. You can see halfway through here, line up like so, and flame charge jump. You can hit it just like that. So often I'll go for the quick one, miss the quick one, end up here, and then back it up. I usually rush this because I'm a little flustered. I missed the quick one, and then we go. Come out here for your left, turn around for this guy after he attacks. Same thing with this guy. I like to get a little bit of a glide in there. Here, you've got a couple of different options. You can collect everything now. You can do it the intended way. We don't need Farley, but we're going to come up here. And for this button, a couple different ways you can handle it. You can do a charging jump into a flame with your hover. I'm not very good at it. It's a quarter of a second better. There it is. maybe a quarter of a second. What I like to do is just walk off and glide, kind of almost like a nice power jump. You can do a power jump, I just don't do as much of a charge into it. So there's more of a power jump there. Clean this up, flop on up to the second step, keep going. One thing I do want to point out, and I could be very wrong about this, I don't have a confirmation, don't skip this buttons cutscene too quick. Wait for it to like show this part, so like come from the fade. It fades out from black before you skip this. And we're gonna get it like that. Otherwise, what can happen is, I think that's tied to this. Farley will like get stuck right here and won't finish the actual course. You can see he's a little stuck right now. A little funny. Poor guy. He'll be okay. Anyway, oh, come back up. Couple different ways you can do this. You can veer in a little bit and break this early, or you can just break it as you go there. You might bonk, that's kind of the danger. You can clean this up a couple different ways. This is usually the way I go about it. Come on down here. 18 is what we like to see. Turn around, and you'll get a teleport out. As long as you haven't turned around, you won't get the teleport far enough away. You can alternatively do something like this. And then wait for that teleport. So I was a little bit quicker there, and that's why teleport took a little bit longer. Alternatively, handle it like this. Regardless of how you do it, we're gonna mash through this. Come on out. I'm gonna hold L2. I'm gonna charge and forward. And after I release charge, I'm gonna line myself up so this booger is aiming kind of towards the center of this path, but favoring more of the right side. And I'm going to wait until he's smiling at me, like face on, head on. There we go. And then I'm going to flame charge jump him while holding forward. And this is going to push him back in a way that the gem lands right there. What instead will happen if you push him too far right, or if you flame charge jump him immediately, he'll be sent either side. The gem will fly all the way back over here, and it loses a little bit of time. After you send that, regardless of what you get, send this guy in. If you go too far forward with him, maybe not even, sometimes his gem will spawn back there, beyond, and go at the foot of this little path. If he stays right here, it's going to just spawn right where he is, just like so. And keep going from there. So let's see that in one go here. So I don't even hold L2. I tap it as soon as I catch that in midair if that happens. I tap it as soon as I release square. Now up next we've got Byrd. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's begin.
I'm ready. It's good to be back at it.
First things first, let's talk about boogers. So these guys are very wonky. They're intended to be hit while in midair. These ones that we have left, the ones that are in midair are intended on being killed in midair, and they have special properties with their gems. The gems will home in with you eventually, as opposed to the ones that start on the ground and fly up just a little bit out of your, ability to hit. So that's why you flame charge jump them, or just hit them with the little rock. The ones that home in, which are all the ones left, and the ones you get as Byrd pretty much, these ones suck. The homing in doesn't always seem very reliable. There are ways to consistently kind of work with it. You kind of prevent any shenanigans from happening. But first off, let's talk about what happens when you shoot a booger. They go backwards. They go in whatever direction is backwards to them. You can see I didn't get the gem yet. He's too far out of the way. And there's some maybe height value to it. So if I just go forward, there, that's what happens. It can make keeping track of your gems in this level very difficult. So let's see. Let's get this guy from behind without him looking at me. I hope. I gotta be in front of him. Oh, there you go. So he turned to look that way. Now he's going backwards. There's his gem. And as you're kind of going about these, another thing you can do, this is a good technique, you can freeze boogers. As long as you're far enough away, you can actually freeze them and stop them in their cycle. So they will take a consistent cycle. So you can see I've just froze that one that's going around that pillar. He should be further along, but I keep freezing him. Now if I'm too close, that doesn't matter. If he's loaded enough, he will eventually just keep going. So we're going to take advantage of that. Sometimes one technique you're going to want to be employing is getting them in a good position to shoot them, and then acknowledging that they're going to be too far out of your reach of the shot that you just shot, and so you need to freeze them by just turning away. As a result, sometimes that can make it so gems get lost. All right, let's get into this. So here's this route using the boogers that are left. To start with, what I do, of course, is we're holding the L1 and R1 strafe buttons. And then I'm going to just hold X to get myself up. I'm going to shoot 4 shots here. And this is how I time things. So, bird shots can only be shot so fast. And as a result, for this beginning, I can time when I turn to line everything up with the 2 boogers behind us. Just by doing that. So I'm going to face this line. 3, there's my 4th. My 4th shot will hit this. And then I'm going to go just a little bit higher as I turn around and shoot at this guy. To get this guy, it helps to go a little bit more right as you turn around as well. I find being too far left will kind of screw you. Taking this kind of wide shot into him is a little bit more beneficial. I'm going to come back just enough to get that balloon, and then I'm going to walk forward. Some people like to aim right here. They'll sit down and aim. Shoot that, they'll aim low for that guy and then probably aim up for that guy if they missed him. That's also an option if you want to do it. It is possible to get that without aiming. Now we're really going to push things here, and it can get a little bit unruly at times. So I shoot, and as soon as I see one that's going to like actually hit it, again, if you're too slow, it'll be a little bit more along here. You'll need to kind of spend some extra time shooting at it. As soon as I see one that's going to hit, I'm getting ready to turn my camera. As soon as it hits, I'm not going to get the gem right away. So, hits, I turn the camera, I know that I'm going to be able to collect it off screen. And then we take this nice line, which gets this guy who's kind of just happened to go around here. And then this guy can be a little bit tricky because he's further off and he's going down. For some reason, I find it easy to just miss him. You might need to fire a few at him. And some of yours might actually even go and hit this balloon, which is fine too. A lot of accounting in this. So I got one of the booger gems. By facing this bone dog, killing him in this direction, I'm going to get that one down here. This guy right here. Because the way I leave, as you can see, I strafe and I go directly backwards. And you can see right before I turned, I got that one gem from the guy I was calling out. And I know this because there's that other guy. So that was all 3 just kind of accounted for. I got the second one first, the first one second, and the third one was still third. So there's the first guy, second guy, third guy. Second guy's gem, first guy's gem, third guy's gem. I'm going to then try to just shoot this as much as possible. As soon as possible, I should say. And once I get it, I know I'm just going to turn. I usually get enough height up here that when I aim over here, my first shot goes over. Sometimes it just hits the bone dog instead. You can usually get this. This is a very generous balloon to get. You can get it from pretty low as long as you're far enough away. Land on this. You can see I don't turn my camera because I'm trying to keep this cycle that I have, just like so. So I turn my camera pretty late. You can see I am basically around the donut. I just start to touch the donut and then I need to turn to him. This kind of, I think ideally I would be a little bit lower. I'm not going to lie. But obviously I do want this guy. You can come in lower, shoot this guy, and then come up and turn for this guy instead while you're more over here. You just need to freeze him, potentially. I can give a demonstration of what I'm talking about. But instead, I'm just trying to shoot this guy as best as I can and get up to his height. Being mindful of where these gems are going. Because they're going backwards. There are 2 gems here, strangely. But make sure you go around here enough. At this point, again, I could have gotten this guy earlier. So I'm going to just shoot a couple as I pass by to get him. There's a lot going on. I apologize. And then I have one more gem I need to turn on and collect, which I'll actually be getting very late. Sometimes things just work out like so. This guy is a very tricky gem to get, and we'll talk about it. So let's take this through in another way. I'm gonna start 2, 3, 4. Turn up, veer right, aim at that guy. Start going left, hit, turn. Turn. I didn't get any of the gems yet. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Get that. Shoot whatever I can here. Land. Now I want to save state here. Turn over and get this guy. I can get this guy now or I can get him later. This guy is a little bit further back, which is what I'm a little bit more used to. I'm going to shoot at him. And because if he kept coming more forward, there's a chance that my shots could have missed. So I turned to get him off screen, and then I need to turn to get him back on screen to get his gem. That one you can get from pretty far away, which is nice. Now, 74 after you get this booger and this green gem is typically what you want to see here. Ideally, I would have shot at him a little bit earlier over here and gotten his gem. Come up through here. Cleaning those up, pretty self-explanatory. 89 in here is what you want to see. Come on up. And now, since I see him already, I actually want to ideally turn back more. I don't want him to go too high. Makes things a little bit difficult. He's actually more high than I want him to get. But luckily it worked out in this case. 05. Make sure this last gem touches you before you get this bone and teleport. Otherwise you'll have to actually kind of travel back to this general area before you get credit for it. Now I shoot. Now, what to do if things go wrong? Things will go wrong. Boogers are very difficult to deal with and can be very overwhelming and very difficult. Best thing I can suggest is to follow boogers to where they die. So shoot one, follow it over to where it dies. What can happen is if you don't and you leave them unaccounted for, you will run into issues where you won't find their gem. So if I were to leave that guy and not turn back in that direction, there's a chance I kind of just don't get the gem. So there's that gem. That gem. I'm gonna freeze him. There we go. Turn back for him. I'm not too worried about that booger. He's a pretty good booger as far as giving me his gem goes. And then there, I happen to have turned in a good way that actually got this gem here. Now, I do want to talk about a backup for this last booger. Again, if he's too high, we'll just turn back. We'll freeze him until we approach more. Get on his level. Let me see if I can induce it. Yes, there we go. So, this is going to be a common situation. You hit this last booger, and his gem does not home in. What do? Go in front of this bone dog, and look up. And you'll get it. Ideally, you do want to not be as right as I was. You want to kind of be able to turn up like that. And that should get it, as long as you kind of kill him in that general direction. Otherwise, you would want to look in kind of the general direction he's going to otherwise. The Enchanted Towers. Mash through. Bone Dance. And get on out of there. Good job. Unless you're here for this other route, in which case, let's get to the other route. How's that sound? Alright, the other route. Look, this is the same start. But now we're going to be getting these boogers. It's imperative that you push these boogers to the left and not the right. It's a little bit more forgivable in the first route, not in this one. They want to be in your path. For cursing, plenty of different ways you can set this up. Ideally, you obviously shoot this as soon as possible. We leave these guys and everything else over there. That's the one difference. Shoot this. Come up towards this edge. Don't be right on the edge of this. Otherwise, you will risk actually screwing things up. The way we're going to set up, again, you'll find your own method. This is based on Nitros, shamelessly ripped. You can see I am close to the edge, but I'm not right up against the edge. What we're going to do, well, I'll just play this out. Just like so. So this is Cursed Ridge. Forget how many frames of leeway it has, but it's quite a few. And they all have different amounts of dark frames to them. So you can see this one was pretty dark. But you can still see. If your screen goes completely black with this trick, you did not crash. You either need to navigate into this portal or you need to kill yourself, which is easier said than done. But you should be always falling into here anyways, so you just need to find the portal and go through, and you'll be okay. What this is going to do is it's going to teleport us after. Saves us a little bit of time having to go through the whirlwind and going up the stairs a second time. So to set this up, you can see I charge jumped after I have everything, set up and timed. That's why I don't want to be too far to the here. I'll get either chump jumped or I'll just fall and flop and it'll screw everything up. So I'm going to aim in this general direction. I like to aim kind of at this guy, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I'll show a different one. Triangle, we're going to look up. We're going to use Spyro's Mohawk. I went a little bit high. And I like to put Spyro's Mohawk halfway between that top of the tower. And then what I like to do is when this is all good, once I see kind of the backside of this rocket on the right side, that's when I will charge jump. And then I will glide on over, land here. And it will trigger the jackhammer guy and grab my camera, which prevents me from teleporting. And that, as a result, gives us this little series of black frames. Again, it's right over the sorceress's head, and there's the top of the tower there. And you can see I trigger that guy, camera goes to grab him, and that happens. If we want to look at another setup, it should be slightly different. They all follow the same fundamental stuff I just laid out. I like to off-screen that guy, just to make my life easier. I always jump down to this third step. Look directly. This time I was looking at the big guy. I don't shoot up as far here. You can see I'm not perfectly in the center here. There's, like I said, a decent amount of leeway. And backside go. You can see I started my charge, jump. I flipped into those inputs. Just rub up against it. This one looks a little bit darker. So let's watch this all through one more time. Go. And there you go. Skateboarding is identical. Your gem counts will obviously be a little bit different. And you can see here 84 is what typically we'll end up with. If you have fewer booger gems collected, then that will be part of the problem. She'll need to subtract the math problem. Leave on out and you'll immediately teleport to the end of a level. And then this resembles pretty much the previous route. Turn and pivot all the way around. Grab that. You don't have to be on those rocks for very long. Or another difference is we only get the one bone dog right here. And you can see I left a bunch of gems otherwise. This all plays out pretty much the same. Making sure that gem falls. Same sort of logic as before. Keep Spyro on the donut. Flame charge jump, just the 4. Farley stuff is going to be all the same as well. Your gem counts will be slightly different. So you end at 82 instead. This is all the same as well. And now we get to Byrd. A little bit more to manage with Byrd, but it's going to start identically to the other way I just taught you. 2, 3, 4. Turn, go a little bit right. You can see that time I did veer a little bit right. Hit, turn. All this is identical to the other route. Now here's what's different. Your camera will come into play a little bit more in this route than the other route. So try not to go too high. We want to get low as soon as possible. And you can see I have not fixed my camera yet. And I'm just going to fix it on them. I could turn it a little bit more. You're going to have to get used to like finding when to turn the camera, like what works best for you. I'll explain why in a minute here. You're going to fall down. And for whatever reason, this guy's hitbox is actually in his hammer as Byrd. So you can kill him by shooting the hammer, which is something you can't do with Spyro with your flame. So use that to your advantage. Every now and then you'll double kill these guys at the same time. You'll like kill this guy, he'll hammer, and it'll hit the hammer and kill him. So I usually shoot 2 shots anyways, and every now and then I'll hit the sheep. Be careful with that. Sparks will, go on hiatus. Turn, get those. Glide on up. Be careful with this gem. It's ideal to graze over it as you kind of come up. Basically like teabag the gem. I find it's just kind of easy to leave behind. As well as this one. Pay attention to this one. Make sure you don't, make sure you're going low enough to pick it up. Now, where I say, you're going to have to get used to what works for you. Find what works for you for the camera. It's kind of right here, so. And come on out. This guy will be in a slightly different spot depending on how well you did in this leading up section. Basically everything from this bone dog over here and where you have your camera positioned to right about here. Now, my rules of thumb, let's listen. I heard him spit, which means he's either right on the other side or to the right. If you don't hear him spit, he's to the left or at the other tower. Ideally, when we come out here, we would want to go to the left. We want him more to the left. In general, it's not going to be the end of the world. I get him on the right side a lot. So if you hear him, this is your path to victory. Shoot at this guy. I try to freeze him to get him early. This guy's usually far back. Depending on how much camera you had on him, back here, when you come out of this 4th bone dog, this is that guy that I was talking about. He can be pushed a little bit forward. This guy's actually kind of tricky. So keep that in mind. But what you can also do is, I like that these are going to hit. I'm going to turn, freeze them, turn back once I know they've hit, get everything. I could have already gotten this guy. This guy, do be very careful. Make sure you leave your camera on him enough after you hit him for the gem to home in. It's very easy to lose his gem. Sometimes it just won't home in at all if you turn away too much. You can see I'm very deliberately leaving it on the left. These two boogers that I'm coming up, these are very nice boogers that will typically always home in. But ideally I would have shot him before, and then I could just focus my efforts over here. But I freeze him because I know my shots are going to hit, and I want to make sure this guy comes out enough. This is kind of an important thing. Depending on if you're too good with your camera, he'll be further back in his cycle, and you need to push him forward, kind of like I've done. So that's the purpose of freezing him. And if your gem from this booger over here doesn't collect initially, you can get him after getting the platform gems. This guy, I'll show you where to back him up. So there's my 74 that I want. What I can actually do is after turning, I can just turn more right, kind of basically like 180 degrees out, and I would have gotten this booger's gem. I'm not too worried about that one in general. Picking these guys up, 89. The other booger, this one that was over here, would be over here, and very easy to get. You would shoot him, you know, turn 90 degrees, shoot him, and then go in and you'll get his gem. It's pretty safe. And then it ends the same. Now, I find with this route, it is easier to have him further back. If he's further back, you saw him on the right side of this tower, keep him on screen, and he'll be at a good position. Just make sure he doesn't go too far up.
Should be good. No? Really?
You can see there was a situation where I didn't get his gem to home in. And there you go.